Today's video is sponsored by Amersoft, the ultimate video conversion utility.
So in today's video, we're doing the highly requested video comparison between the Skydio 2 and the Mavic 2 Pro. Now we all know this thing does phenomenal with autonomy and obstacle avoidance, but I think a lot of you will find solace in the fact that the video quality is just as excellent as the Mavic 2 Pro. Stick around. What's up? Welcome back everybody, Original Dobo, and in today's video, like I said, we're comparing the video quality between the Mavic 2 Pro and the Skydio 2. Now for this test, I'm going to film in two different frame rates for the Skydio 2, and for the Mavic 2 Pro, I'm only going to film in 24 frames per second. So all my videos are 24 frames per second. This just helps me keep everything consistent if I ever need to use clips from my real estate videos in my YouTube videos. So the reason why I'm going to film with two different frame rates for the Skydio 2 is because 4K 60 is its highest frame rate, and they don't offer HDR in 24 frames per second. So 4K 60, 4K 30 allows for HDR, but no 4K 24. Now for the Mavic 2 Pro, I'm going to film in 4K 24 frames per second, and I'm also going to film in the standard color profile to start, and then I'll switch it over to DLOG M so you can see how that goes. Let's get this test started.
All right, guys, we are back in the studio and I got a chance to overlook some of this footage. And I have to say, I'm incredibly impressed with both of these drones. They both did really, really well for the environment and conditions I put them in. However, I have to give the edge to the Mavic 2 Pro just ever so slightly. I am going to explain, but it shouldn't be all that surprising simply because this drone is not like this drone. They aren't really in the same class and we can't really compare them equally. It's definitely not an apples to apples comparison. But in overlooking the footage, I did feel like the Mavic 2 Pro retained better highlight and shadow details in both the normal profile and the DLOG M. DLOG M obviously gives us a little bit more edge to color grade it and make it look the way we want to make it look. But the Skydio 2 definitely did really solid in both the 24 frames per second profile and the HDR. HDR is going to be really subjective to the viewer simply because it's sort of an overly saturated image, but it does look really pleasing. I would say that if you're interested in just right off the SD card, results, the Skydio 2 is definitely the way to go. The Mavic 2 Pro does do some great off the SD card results. However, they aren't quite as sharp as the Skydio 2 in most instances, but that's because you are meant to color grade and tweak the footage of the Mavic 2 Pro. We've learned that over the past year, so that shouldn't come as no surprise. But in punching into both of these at 200%, I think both of them retained quite a bit of detail. There was just a little bit more noise in the Skydio 2, but again, that's to be expected. This is a compact sensor. This is a 1-inch sensor. So it's not, again, an apples to apples comparison. But again, the color is just really going to depend on what you like. And that's the cool thing about cameras and images is that, it's always going to depend on what that individual person sees. Me personally, I favored the Mavic 2 Pro footage, but I do like the field of view on the Skydio and I do love the image quality. Now, a couple of things that I did figure out while I was going through all this today was boost mode. And I'm going to talk specifically about boost mode in another video, but just really briefly on the controller, you can press the square button. It's like a target and it will allow you to get short boosts of speed into the Skydio 2. If you were wondering why it was going so slow, well, that was because I was not pressing the boost button. As soon as I pressed that button, this thing was full tilt forward and it was flying. It was scooting. And I'm going to include some clips in this video as well, sort of like a cinematic-ish compilation of everything I've shot with the Skydio 2 today, because I figured out boost mode and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a game changer. This is awesome. I'm not saying it's different than sport mode. It's just weird because you can do it sort of on demand, almost like a gas pedal or something. It's just really fun and it changed my experience the way this flew. So use the controller for this specifically all today. I didn't do really anything with any sort of track-in. That shot you saw on the skateboard, that was shot a couple of days ago. Obviously the lighting conditions were very different. I just sort of threw that in there for reference for you guys to see. Everybody just wants to see what this camera is capable. So again, you can make your own assessment, but I'm impressed with both of these. There's really no clear-cut winner, but the Mavic 2 Pro does have the slight advantage. Obviously, DLOG M and HLG are big benefactors to creativity with a drone and making that footage your own, but it's undeniable that you can really get some cool shots, and sometimes the wow factor of the shot exceeds what the image quality actually looks like, if that makes sense. Speaking of image quality, if you struggle trying to edit DLOG M footage because of that H.265 or heavy video codecs, today's video is sponsored by Amersoft. Amersoft is a video conversion utility. It allows you to quickly convert files that are H.265 to H.264. When I travel, I typically travel with my MacBook Pro, and I need to be able to convert video files so it's not as stressful on Premiere Pro. With Amersoft software, you can quickly convert those files, edit them without any loss of time, which is absolutely awesome. They have a holiday sale going on right now. I would highly advise checking it out, especially if you have a computer that isn't quite up to snuff and Santa isn't bringing you a new one. That link will be in the description below. Let them know that Original Dobo sent you. So before I send you guys all off, I am going to leave you with a compilation of cinematic footage from the Skydio 2. I do plan on trying this on a client's house. I did use it on a client's house today, but unfortunately they are still living there and I really didn't feel comfortable putting that footage out online because the homeowners still live there. If they didn't live there, I probably wouldn't do that. That house that I shot the other day, they were already moving. They just had stuff there. So yeah, and that house is already sold. So that's pretty cool. But with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was helpful. Hope you learned something about the cameras, and we will see you next time. I'm out of breath. Stay original.